There's something mysterious and often misunderstood about the divine masculine on the twin flame journey. So much is said about his silence, his distance, and his struggle to open up. So often, the focus turns to what he doesn't do. He doesn't express his emotions, he doesn't commit, he doesn't acknowledge the connection, or he doesn't heal fast enough. But beneath that still surface, something much deeper is happening, something sacred. The divine masculine carries a secret longing, a deep, unspoken yearning that he may never fully admit, not to you, and often not even to himself. He feels it like a quiet ache in his soul. It's not something that can be reasoned with or solved through logic. It's not loud or obvious. It lives in the quietest parts of his heart. And yet this longing shapes everything: his choices, his silence, his inner conflict, and eventually his transformation. Today, we want to speak to that longing. We will reveal what the divine masculine hides, not to blame or pressure him, but to help us all understand. Because once we truly understand what lives inside him, we begin to see him not as distant or disconnected, but as a soul in evolution, just like us. Let's begin. Number 1. He longs to be truly seen, but fears what you'll find. At the center of the divine masculine secret longing is this deep, soul-level desire to be truly seen. Not for the masks he wears, not for his status, strength, or accomplishments, but for the real him, the messy, vulnerable, imperfect him, the one he hides from the world, the one that still carries shame from the past, wounds from childhood, and doubts about his own worthiness. Even if he looks confident on the outside, there's a part of him that wonders, if you truly saw all of me, would you still love me? Would you still stay? This fear is heavy. It makes him pull back when he feels too exposed. It makes him test your love through silence. It makes him avoid the depth of connection he actually craves, because the risk feels too great. He wants to be known, but only if he can be sure that his truth won't be used against him, only if it won't make him lose the very connection he holds dear. And so he hides. He wears strength like armor. He speaks in logic instead of emotion. He convinces himself that being misunderstood is safer than being rejected for who he really is. But in the quiet moments, when no one is watching, he dreams of a love that can hold all of him. Not just the parts that are easy to love, but the ones he's not proud of. He longs for a love that doesn't flinch at his shadow, a love that says, I see you, all of you, and I'm not going anywhere. If you are the divine feminine on this journey, you may feel this longing too. You may have sensed it in his eyes, in his silence, in his struggle to explain why he runs when things get real. Understand that his distance is not a rejection of you. It's a reflection of the war within himself. And while you cannot fix that war for him, you can hold your own presence in love and clarity, which over time becomes the safe space his soul remembers. Number 2, he longs to feel safe in his own heart. Many assume that the divine masculine is afraid of commitment or that he simply doesn't care enough. But the truth is more layered. He doesn't fear love. He fears what love awakens in him. Deep, spiritual love, especially the kind that twin flames carry, doesn't just make him feel good. It shakes him. It breaks open walls he's built his entire life. It brings him face to face with emotions he has spent years trying to control or avoid. So his secret longing isn't just to be in love. It's to feel safe in that love. Safe enough to soften, safe enough to trust, safe enough to surrender without feeling like he's losing his grip. Most of the time, he doesn't feel that way, even when the love is pure, because the moment his heart starts to open, his nervous system gets overwhelmed. The old programming kicks in, and suddenly, instead of feeling expansion, he feels danger. Not because you are dangerous, but because his emotions feel out of control. He has likely been taught, directly or indirectly, that to feel deeply is a weakness, that to cry, to ask for help, to admit fear is to fail as a man. And so he locks his heart away, hoping that logic can lead where love wants to go. But it never works, and he knows it. That's why he feels the tension between wanting you and pushing you away, between longing for depth and running from it. His heart is like a lion in a cage, powerful, majestic, meant to roam free, but terrified of what might happen if the door opens. He wants to feel safe enough to step out, but the world has shown him too many reasons to stay locked in. What helps is your understanding, your calm presence, and your own healing. Because the more grounded and emotionally balanced you are, the more your energy signals to his nervous system. It's okay to soften here. It's okay to open. The more you embody emotional safety, the more he begins to believe that it's possible. Not overnight. Not because you force it, but because your energy doesn't require him to be anyone other than himself. And in that space, he finds something he has never really known: peace in his own heart. Number 3, he longs for purpose beyond survival. The divine masculine has been conditioned to chase success, security, and survival. He's been taught that his worth is tied to how much he can provide, how strong he appears, and how well he can control outcomes. But this conditioning often leaves him spiritually hollow. It keeps him moving, striving, achieving, while his soul is silently asking, is this all there is? His secret longing is for something more. Not more things, but more meaning, more purpose, more alignment. He doesn't just want to exist, he wants to matter. He wants to know that his life is contributing to something bigger than himself, that he's not just playing a role, but living a truth. This becomes especially intense after meeting his twin flame, because the connection awakens his soul, whether he's ready for it or not. It stirs a longing for growth, for wholeness, for sacred mission. But instead of embracing it right away, he may resist. Because walking a spiritual path means letting go of the identities he's built his life around. It means dismantling the ego's definition of success. And that can feel like death. Still, beneath the fear and confusion, the longing remains. He wants to live from his heart, not just his head. He wants to lead, not through control, but through integrity. He wants to feel proud of the man he's becoming, not because the world applauds him, but because his soul feels clean. Often, he needs time to confront the inner emptiness that the world can't fill. He needs space to question the systems he was raised in. He needs room to grieve the dreams that weren't really his. And most of all, he needs faith. Faith that the new life being born through him will be worth the cost of letting go of the old. When you honor your own purpose, when you live in alignment with your truth, you invite him to do the same. Not through pressure, but through presence. You become a mirror, not of his failures, but of his potential. And in that reflection, his longing becomes a calling, one he can finally begin to follow. Number 4, he longs to lead with love, not control. The divine masculine has been raised in a world that equates leadership with control. He's been taught that to be strong, he must always know, always decide, always win. But true leadership, spiritual leadership, asks something else entirely. It asks for humility. It asks for heart. It asks for love. And this is where his secret longing lies. He doesn't want to control you. He doesn't want to dominate the connection. He wants to lead it, but from a place of love, not fear. He wants to be the one who can hold the container strong enough for you both to flourish. He wants to guide, not because he knows everything, but because he's aligned with something higher. But he doubts himself. Deep down, he questions. Am I enough? Do I have what it takes to hold this kind of love? He may try to assert control when he feels insecure. He may shut down emotionally when he feels out of depth. He may resist surrendering to the unknown because he fears that without control, everything will fall apart. But this isn't who he truly is. His soul longs to be the man who can stand firm in love, who can speak truth even when it's hard, who can protect without controlling, support without suffocating, love without needing to possess. This shift requires him to redefine what it means to be a man. It requires him to peel away ego-driven ideas of power and instead embody divine presence. And while this is no easy journey, the longing to rise into sacred masculinity is already alive in him. It's what keeps him coming back to the connection, even after distance. It's what stirs his soul awake, even when his mind still resists. When you lead yourself with love, you give him permission to do the same. When you no longer shrink to protect his comfort, he learns to grow to match your light, not because you force him, but because he finally sees that real leadership isn't about control. It's about becoming a safe space where love can grow wild and free. Number 5, he longs to be chosen for who he truly is. Underneath his silence, his strength, and the image he presents to the world, the divine masculine carries a quiet and painful question. Would I still be loved if I stopped being who people expect me to be? This doubt isn't loud. It's not something he speaks out loud or even consciously thinks about every day, but it lingers in the background, especially in moments of vulnerability or emotional intimacy. He wants to be seen, not for what he does, but for who he is. For his soul, not his status. For his essence, not his achievements. But most of his life has trained him to believe that he must do in order to deserve. He's been taught to earn approval by performing well, being useful, or appearing strong. He might even believe that if he's not fixing something, providing something, or holding everything together, then he's failing somehow. And so he puts on a mask. He pretends he's okay even when he's not. He acts confident even when he's unsure. He hides his pain, suppresses his emotions, and tries to be enough by doing more. Not because he wants to lie, but because he's afraid that if he shows the truth, he'll lose the love he most deeply wants. He fears that love is conditional, that if he drops the role and becomes real, he'll be rejected, that if he falls apart, no one will stay, that if he isn't impressive, he won't be wanted. And so instead of letting himself be loved, he guards himself from it. He keeps a part of himself out of reach, thinking that distance will protect him from being hurt. But even behind all that, there's a part of him that longs to stop pretending. He wants to be able to just be without having to earn affection. He wants to rest in someone's presence without needing to perform. He wants to let go of the weight of always being the strong one. More than anything, he wants to be loved when he's soft, when he's uncertain, when he's not trying to prove anything at all. That kind of love doesn't come from pressure or expectation. It doesn't grow when someone is chasing or begging for connection. It blossoms in the space of self-acceptance. When he starts to accept himself, when he learns to sit with his own emotions instead of judging them, when he lets himself be human, then he begins to attract the kind of love that sees him as he is, not as who he pretends to be. And you, his twin flame, are a mirror for that truth. The more you choose yourself, not as a way to punish him, but as a way to honor your own worth, the more he realizes that love isn't about fixing, proving, or chasing. It's about truth. It's about energy that is real, grounded, and present. When you stop making him the project and instead choose your healing, your strength, and your voice, you send a clear message. Love doesn't come from playing roles. It comes from showing up whole. This is what begins to awaken him. When he sees that your love for yourself doesn't depend on anyone's approval, he learns to find that same anchor within himself. And from there, the real connection begins. Not one built on fear or performance, but on deep, sacred recognition. The divine masculine doesn't always have the words for what he feels. He may not know how to explain what he's going through. He may act distant, confused, or even indifferent. But behind the silence, something very real is stirring. He's not running from love. He's running from the pain he's carried for years. He's running from the expectations that have crushed his spirit. He's running from the fear that if he shows who he really is, he'll be left behind. And yet, even as he runs, he carries a secret longing, a longing to stop running. This longing is not weakness. It's the seed of transformation. It is the quiet voice within him that whispers, "There's more. You don't have to carry this alone. You are allowed to be soft, to feel, to need, to heal." It's the part of him that's still connected to truth, even when his mind is full of fear. It's the part of him that recognizes you, not with his eyes, but with his soul. And here is where your path matters. You are not here to rescue him. You are not here to chase or convince him. You are here to walk in your own light so fully, so consistently, that your energy becomes a safe place, for yourself first, and then naturally for him too. Your job is not to lead him. Your job is to lead you. When he sees you choosing your peace over pain, your voice over silence, your healing over codependency, he is quietly reminded that he can do the same. Your presence becomes the living proof that he doesn't have to stay trapped in old patterns. You are not a lifeline. You're a lighthouse. And even if he drifts far, even if he doesn't admit what he feels, your light calls to something deep inside him. In time, if and when he's ready, he will return. Not because you waited, but because you rose. His longing is sacred. And when he finally stops ignoring it, when he stops chasing what the world told him he needed, and starts listening to what his soul has been asking for all along, he begins to become the man he was always meant to be. And that, more than anything else, is what brings him home. Not just to you, but to himself.